Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining today. I'm Akshay Bhardwaj, cybersecurity professional with over 8 years of experience in application and cloud security. Currently, I serve as a security business lead at Sprinkler, where I drive strategic security initiative and cloud security, lead technical customer and social media partner security audits, and support sales team. I have specialized in strengthening organizations' cloud security posture and implementing security framework to satisfy various compliance requirements. For the past 2 years, I have been involved with Cloud Security Alliance, where I'm an active member of several research groups, including CCM, Cloud Key Management, and AI and Technology Risk. I recently contributed to the CSA implementation guidelines to the version 2, focusing on practical approaches to cloud security control. Today, I'm excited to share that about log domain, drawing from both my practical experiences and involvement with CSC research initiative. Raj.
Thanks, Akshay. I'm Rashikar Yasani, Senior Cloud Security Engineer with Great Acceptance. I have close to 10 years of experience in cybersecurity domain, majority of which I'm focused on securing applications and cloud environments. I hold CISSP, security certifications in AWS, Azure, and certified ethical hacker. I'm part of Cloud Security Alliance community for over a year now, contributing to Cloud Control Matrix and various other cloud security initiatives. The purpose of this recording is to raise awareness and educate end users of security risks, best practices, and aspects of shared security responsibility model for this particular log domain control. Moving to agenda, our agenda today covers five key areas: the cloud control matrix, quick overview, logging and monitoring, CSPs and CSCs shared security responsibility model, security implementation best practices, and finally our conclusions.
Great. Let's start with the cloud control metrics. What is cloud control metrics and why is it so crucial in cloud security? The cloud control matrix is a comprehensive framework that's truly unique in its approach. It's a result of extensive research driven by a diverse group of stakeholders, cloud customers, providers, and assurance professionals. This collaborative effort ensures that the CCM addresses real-world needs, challenges in cloud security. One of the CCM's key strengths is its ability to simplify complex processes. It provides streamlined approach to implementation, assessment, and compliance all the cloud environment. Whether you're dealing with public, private, or hybrid cloud, the CCM offers a consistent methodology. Importantly, CCM doesn't exist in isolation. It carefully aligns and maps to the global regulation and most relevant security frameworks. This alignment means that when you're working with CCM, you are simultaneously addressing requirements from multiple regulatory bodies and industry standards. And a critical feature of the CCM is how security responsibility throughout the shared security responsibility model, or SSRM. It clearly defines where security responsibility falls under the cloud security provider's purview, which controls our customer's responsibility and which are shared between provider and the customer. This clarity is invaluable in preventing gaps in security coverage. The CCM is also remarkably flexible. It provides applicability guidance for different cloud service models. This includes SaaS, PaaS, and IaaS. This means you can apply the appropriate controls tailored for your cloud service model. Lastly, it's worth noting that the CCM offers as a backbone of the CSA STAR program. This program is widely used to assess and compare cloud security providers, making the CCM an essential tool for both providers and customers in the cloud ecosystem.
Let's see what CCM framework components provide and their significance in the industry. The CCM brings an invaluable asset of tools to ensure best security practices are applied across cloud environments. At its core, the CCM implementation guidelines designed to help organizations effectively implement the controls specified in the CCM. These guidelines offer detailed recommendations and structured guidance for each control, ensuring that both cloud providers and consumers can navigate the CCM controls properly. A crucial component of the CCM is SSRM. This implementation guidelines clarify the division of security responsibilities between cloud service provider and cloud service consumers. It's essential for ensuring The both parties understand their roles in securing cloud environments, thereby reducing the risk of security breaches due to miscommunication and misunderstandings. Another tool closely aligned with CCM is Consensus Assessment Initiative Questionnaire, or in short, the CAIQ provided by the Cloud Security Alliance. The CAIQ helps organizations assess the security posture of CSP, complementing the CCM framework. Let's take a quick overview of the CCM version 4 security domain. The CCM comprises of 17 security domains, as you see here, with 197 controls in total. These domains include identity and access management, threat and vulnerability management, and other domains that offer a holistic approach to cloud security, addressing three key aspects. Number one, control applicability and ownership, clarifying who is responsible for each control. Architectural relevance, ensuring controls are applied consistently across all cloud security stack components. Number three, organizational relevance, aligning security with organizational structures and processes. This framework can be tailored to any organization needs, regardless of size or cloud deployment complexity. As we move forward in our discussion, we will dive deeper into log domain, exploring how these principles apply specifically to logging and monitoring in cloud environments. Now, let's dive into log domain specifically.
Great. Moving on to our focus area, let's discuss the logging and monitoring domain. This domain consists of 13 control specification that applies to the comprehensive monitoring, logging, auditing of cloud infrastructure and services to ensure security, compliance, operational visibility. The log domains defines control for people, process, and technology. We have further divided these 13 controls into three main categories for ease of understanding that you will see in the next slide: policies and governance, audit, logging, and security monitoring and alerting. An important aspect to understand is the shared security responsibility model between CSPs and CSCs. So, when it comes to logging and monitoring, CSPs are responsible for security of the cloud, providing robust logging infrastructure monitoring capabilities and tools for log management and analysis. CSCs, on the other hand, are responsible for the security in the cloud, configuring and managing logging for their applications and workload, monitoring their specific resources, and responding to security events by leveraging CSPs provided logging and monitoring capabilities. This shared responsibility ensures comprehensive visibility uh, and security across entire cloud environment, from infrastructure to application.
Now that we have covered the CCM framework, let's focus on the categorization of log domain controls. The log domain consists of 13 controls, which are divided into three main categories. These categories address all aspects of logging and monitoring in cloud environments, ensuring robust visibility and accountability. The first category, audit logging, includes controls that focus on protecting, assessing, and maintaining the integrity of audit logs. The second category, policy and governance, addresses the foundational aspects of logging and monitoring, such as policies, procedures, and scope. The final category, security monitoring and alerting, includes controls focused on monitoring logs, detecting anomalies, and responding to security events. Let's move on to how these controls are implemented in practice.
Let's discuss how these responsibilities are shared between CSPs and CSCs. The log domain is particularly interesting because it demonstrates the shared responsibility model in cloud security. Just as we see a clear division of responsibilities in other security domains, logging and monitoring requires useful coordination between providers and customers. Looking at this slide, we can break it down the key responsibility. The cloud service providers are fundamentally responsible for the security of the cloud. This means implementing robust logging mechanism at the infrastructure level. They are responsible for maintaining the logging infrastructure, ensuring log integrity, and providing the necessary tools and capabilities for comprehensive monitoring. On the other side, customer side, CSCs are responsible for security in the cloud. This means they need to properly configure and utilize logging capabilities provided by their CSPs, implement application level login, and most importantly, actively monitor and respond to security events relevant to their workloads. As you can see on the right side, we have a table here showing control ownership by service model. And under each service model, you can see some alphabets are written as I and D and others like CSP on. Let me explain the legends here. The table uses four categories: shared independent, shared dependent, CSP owned, and CSC owned. These categories apply differently across SaaS, PaaS, and IaaS model. This shared model ensures comprehensive coverage of logging and monitoring requirements, with each party focusing on their control and expertise. The key to success in understanding where these responsibilities intersect and ensuring there are no gaps in coverage.
Now that we have covered the basics of shared responsibility, let's dive into the specific roles of CSPs and CSCs in implementing logging and monitoring controls. When it comes to the CSP responsibilities, they play a foundational role in establishing effective logging and monitoring practices. They are responsible for implementing logging, monitoring, and auditing capabilities across the underlying cloud infrastructure that includes network and system level operations. CSPs also ensure the secure storage, production, and retention of audit logs, safeguarding them from tampering or unauthorized access. They also provide synchronization of system clock across their cloud services to maintain consistent and accurate timestamp in audit logs. Additionally, CSPs offer compliance frameworks, tools, and guidance to help CSCs implement logging and monitoring controls aligned with regulatory standards. By fulfilling these responsibilities, CSPs provide a secure and compliant foundation for CSCs to build their logging and monitoring solutions. On the other hand, when it comes to the CSC responsibilities, as I mentioned earlier, CSPs provide the secure foundation, but CSCs have an equally important role in logging and monitoring. CSCs need to define the logging scope and requirements for their applications and data. This involves integrating application and infrastructure logging with CSP capabilities to create a comprehensive view of the environment. CSCs are also responsible for configuring security monitoring and alerting for their cloud resources, enabling the detection of anomalous activities or potential threats. They must manage access controls to ensure accountability for their audit logs and prevent unauthorized access or tampering. Any ongoing responsibility for CSCs is to regularly review audit logs, identify anomalies or security events, and respond promptly to mitigate risks or compliance issues. All in all, shared responsibility in logging and monitoring ensures effective visibility and security in cloud environments. CSPs provide the essential tools, infrastructure, and compliance support for logging and monitoring, while CSCs take an active role in configuring and using these tools to protect their applications and data. Both parties must fulfill their roles to create a secure and resilient cloud ecosystem.
Now let's discuss something critical: the risks organization faces when they don't properly implement logging and monitoring controls. And I've seen this issues firsthand. They can have serious implications for an organization's security posture. The first and perhaps most concerning risk is delayed incident detection and response. Think about this scenario. Without proper logging and monitoring, security breaches can go undetected for months. We have seen cases where attackers maintain persistence in network for extended periods simply because organization lacked adequate monitoring capabilities. This isn't just about detecting the breach. It's about having forensic data readily available when you need to understand what's happened and respond effectively. The second major risk areas involves compliance and audit failure. In today's regulatory environment, this is particularly critical where you are dealing with GDPR, HIPAA, and other regulatory frameworks. Logging requirements aren't just optional; they are mandatory. Without proper implementation, organization not only faces potential penalties but also struggles to prove compliance during security audits, the third party security audits or customer security audits, which will eventually lead very heavy fine on the organization. And I have seen organizations scramble during this audits because they simply couldn't produce the required audit trail. And that's a very risky thing. Third risk, which ties everything together, is data protection and compromise. This is particularly insidious because it creates a cynical problem. When the log data isn't properly protected, it becomes a target. Attackers know that if they can access or tamper with logs, they can effectively cover their tracks, which is like, best thing for hackers, or if they have persistent, access. Even worse, sensitive log data can itself become a source of exposure, potentially revealing system vulnerabilities or sensitive operational details. These risks aren't theoretical. They represent real challenges that organization faces every day. However, the good news is that they are all preventable with proper implementation of logging controls, either on the policy level or in the technical area. Let's move on to our next slide where I'll show you some practical implementation guidelines that directly addresses these risks. Having let's talk about the implementation. So here I'm categorizing only the four main so that it covers majority of the area but most crucial area. First, let's talk about centralized log management. This is absolutely, I'm gonna repeat it again, this is absolutely crucial in today's complex cloud environment, even in the multi-tenant cloud environment where companies are utilizing multiple clouds in order to host their infrastructure. These days of soil logging are over. You need a unified platform that can ingest, process, and analyze logs from all your cloud resources, whether it's a multi-cloud environment. Even in that case, well, that's very important. Even in that case, think of it as your single source of truth. By having a centralized log management, by standardizing log format and enabling real-time streaming, you create a comprehensive view of your entire cloud infrastructure. Moving on to the next, log protection and retention. Repeating it again, moving to log protection and retention. This directly addresses the risks we just discussed. Strong encryption isn't optional anymore, it's mandatory, especially when now the quantum encryption is coming into places, which is like a next future of within the cryptography world. So I particularly want to emphasize the importance of warm storage, WORM, write once, read many. This ensures log integrity and prevents tampering, which is crucial for both security investigations and compliance requirements. Your retention period should be carefully planned based on both compliance requirements and operational needs. The third guideline focuses on automated monitoring and alerting. In the cloud environment, manual monitoring simply doesn't scale. You need automated system that can continuously monitor your infrastructure with well-defined thresholds for alerting. One key aspect I always emphasize is establishing baseline behaviors. You can't detect anomalies if you don't know what's normal look like. And this will differ from company to company. Finally, access control and accountability. This is about protecting the protectors. Your logs are only as secure as access controls around them. Implement strict role-based access, enforce strong authentication, and maintain detailed records of who accessed what and when. Remember, your logs often contain sensitive information and need to be treated accordingly.
Let's take the example of FinCorp scenario, a financial services organization to meet their logging and monitoring policies and standards for cloud applications. They adopted cloud native security monitoring and alerting tools provided by cloud service provider. While this approach offers significant benefits such as operational efficiency, compliance alignment, and cost saving, it also introduces unique challenges and risks that organization must navigate effectively. Let's break them down. One, first that, sorry, I'll repeat again. Let's break them down. Number one, the risk of unauthorized access. Weak credential management or overly permissive access policies can lead to unauthorized access, tampered logs, or data breaches. Second, we have non compliance risk, misaligned logging Practices with regulatory frameworks such as PCI, GDPR, or SOC 2 could result in fines or loss of customer trust. Lastly, there is a risk of log retention. Without proper log retention policies, organizations risk inflating their costs unnecessarily while also potentially violating data retention regulations. To mitigate this risk, we look to the cloud control matrix. Three controls are particularly relevant here, which is log domain number one for logging and monitoring policy and procedures, log domain 2 for auditing log protection, and log 4 for audit logs, access, and accountability. Now, let's talk about best practices for implementation. Number one, adopt CSPs, role based access control, and least privilege. Start with access control. Configure CSP RBAC to ensure only authorized personnel have access to logging system. This reduces the risk of unauthorized access and enhances the security posture. Align logging with CSP shared security responsibility model ensures that all logging configurations adhere to CSP's responsibility model. This alignment simplifies compliance with frameworks like PCI, GDPR, and improves governance. And finally, regularly review log retention settings and use CSP automation where needed. This practice not only helps control costs, but also ensure logs are available for audit and compliance needed when required. Cloud native logging and monitoring tools are critical for modern organizations, especially in highly regulated industries like fintech. By understanding and addressing the associated risks and following best practices, organizations can unlock significant operational efficiencies, maintain compliance, and enhance their security posture. As we wrap up today's discussion, let's recap the key takeaways. Implementing cloud security is not a one time task, but an ongoing process. The implementation guidelines can be used to implement controls from scratch or enhance existing ones. The CCM mappings provide a roadmap across multiple frameworks. Use them to navigate the complex landscape of cloud security. Understand the security responsibilities shared with your CSP. It is critical for CSCs to understand those responsibilities that are partially shared with CSP and to implement cloud service accordingly to CSP guidance and the defined responsibilities for each party. Leverage the CAIQ to conduct regular assessments or CSPs to require CSPs to star level 2 certified. Lastly, CSP managed encryption. Leverage the CAIQ to conduct regular assessments or CSPs or require CSPs to star level 2 certified.
And don't forget the importance of comprehensive and actionable logging for sensitive data in regulated environment. Implementing robust logging mechanism helps meet compliance requirement while still benefiting from the CSP managed service or using third-party tools managed services for your cloud environment. Remember, effective cloud security in the log domain balances visibility, automation, and compliance. By applying these principles, you are not just monitoring data, you are empowering your business to detect, respond, and recover from incidents effectively while thriving in the cloud. Plus, protect the customer as well. Thank you very much.